Hi, I'm Roger and welcome back to the Tractor Tech channel. We've had the splitter for a while now and have put approximately 75 cords through it, so we've used it enough to know what we like and what we don't like, and I also discuss the breakdowns that we've had with it. I'm going to start out by talking about the engine. The engine's a Subaru SP170. It's very quiet. It has not used any oil since we've had it. It's also very fuel efficient on this splitter because all the engine does is turn the flywheels, and once it gets the flywheels up to speed, the engine's really not doing much. So this engine holds about a gallon of gas, and we can go 4 to 4.5 hours off of a tank of gas depending on how we're splitting with it. The only things that have been done to the engine are change the oil, keep the air filter clean, and of course put gas in it. So moving on now to the things that I don't like about the splitter, you can see I have it equipped with the optional log lifter, which is a mechanical log lifter. To raise the log lifter, you have to use this handle, insert it into the log lifter, and raise it, which I'm fine with. But what I don't like is there's nowhere to store the handle. If you lean it against the splitter vibrates a little bit, and it's going to fall over. There's nowhere to put it. So in the very near future, I'm going to make a place to store the handle on the splitter. I like that this splitter has a retractable tongue and that it can be towed on the road, which I've never done. But the retractable tongue is too hard to use. The stabilizer leg for the tongue is mounted on the left side, so when you pull it out, it droops down to the left side, and there are 2 pins that you have to remove and then pull the tongue out and put the 2 pins back in. Well, now since it's hanging down to the left, it's really hard to get the pins in because they're trying to go in on a bind, so you have to wiggle this and find just the right place for the pins to go in. I've tried dropping the outriggers down so that this leg is not touching, and putting it in and out. It's still hard to do. Even inside the garage in a better environment than being outside, it's tough to do. Alright, so now the part that everybody's been wondering, how many breakdowns have I had with this splitter, or how many parts have broken with it? The only thing that I've had break on this splitter is this little rubber cover that goes over the handle that you lift up to engage the rack, which is really nothing in my opinion. Then a while back I did kind of have a breakdown with it. Some of you may remember I was splitting and the return spring came off. When you put the log lifter on this splitter, it causes the chips to jam up, and here, if you're splitting dry wood, it needs to be cleaned a little more frequently than green wood because there's going to be more chips and bark falling off the wood. So just periodically you need to take your hand in here and clean this out, and I didn't do that enough, or a big piece of bark or something fell down in there and it caused this return spring to come off. So I had to take the cover off of it and put the spring back on. So that was something also very minor, and it was kind of my fault that it even happened. Aside from those 2 things, nothing has been done to this splitter other than routine maintenance, like change the engine oil, lubricate the rack, sharpen the knife, done that like 2 times. This beam needs to be kept clean. This bearing, and there's bearings up in here, you need to keep those clean. Just take a scraper and keep the wood from building up on it. Something else that happens with these Kinetic splitters is occasionally a piece of bark or a small wood chip will get caught in here, and when that happens the rack will not return. Sometimes you can hit it back with a block of wood and then run it out, and maybe do that a time or 2 and it will free itself. Other times you have to take these 3 bolts off each side, total of 6 bolts, or just loosen it, and that'll allow the piece of wood to come out, and then tighten it back down and you're good to go. But that's just something minor I thought I should mention. I don't know how often it really happens because it really varies. You might split 5 or 6 cords, it might not happen. You might split 2 cords and it might happen. The powder coat on the splitter is holding up really well. Just until here recently did the powder coat start wearing off the beam, and right here at the wedge on the table, it's starting to show a little bit of wear there too. But considering how much wood's been across this thing, I think that's exceptional. So far it's been a great splitter for the 82 hours that I've used it. Pretty common question I get about this splitter is, how does it do with elm? Well, this last load of logs I got had a very short log that was elm in it, and I was splitting the wood 2 feet long for a customer, and with the elm it took me 4 hits to split it. I don't know if I'd have been splitting 16-inch wood, how many hits it would have taken me to split it. Very rarely with like oak or any of the more common hardwoods in this area do I even have to hit the wood a second time. 99% of the time, this splitter will split it the first time. Another common question I get is, will it split a big round? If you can get a big round up on here, it's going to split it. Just going to have to be careful that when you split it in half that it doesn't fall on you and hurt yourself. But I've split oak, I've split a ton of ash, split some maple, then most recently that elm, done some hickory, which it handles fine. Some of the hickory I split was also 2 feet long. Alright, so now I'm going to get a big round, put it up on the splitter, and show you how it handles it. So here's this piece. I'm not trying to deceive anyone. This piece does have some rod in it, but it is the biggest piece that I currently have. It's actually like the only thing I have right now to split. It's 19 1/4 that way, and 21 that way. Really wasn't much for me to say about this splitter other than it's been a good splitter and it's fast and it's fuel efficient. The big question now is, would I buy another one? And the answer to that is yes. But the problem is Split Second is no longer selling splitters, so I couldn't buy one. So my next choice would be a Super Split. Split Second went out of business I think about a year ago, and I think it was kind of tough for them because Super Split has been around for a long time and they're like the trusted brand for Kinetic wood splitters. So with somebody new coming in to the market, it was tough for them to get going without anybody knowing how they were going to hold up. And then the next thing was, anytime anyone would talk about one of them on a forum, the Super Split owners would jump in and start bashing it Some of the people didn't like the safety also, so that was kind of a turn off. Also think the Super Split owners did not like the splitter because some of the features that it has that the Super Split did not offer at the time. But now the good thing is, since Split Second came out with the splitter with all these different features that the Super Split didn't offer, Super Split now offers a lot of the same features themselves. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this. In the comment section below, let me know what kind of wood splitter you use.